Hi everyone, welcome to the class. Today we are going to work on our hips and feeling all the different movements that the hips can do. So we will start in a seated position. Feel free to sit on something that is a little bit more elevated, like a bolster or a blanket. And then you can open the legs into Tadasana, which is more wider seat, having the knees a little bit more open. The heels can be at the front, aligning. If this doesn't feel comfortable, feel free to choose any other position as well with your legs crossed. I'm going to allow the sitting bones to feel heavy. You can bring your palms onto your thighs or knees. And then have the spine grow and lengthen from the sitting bones. Allow the neck to elongate at the back, so as if someone was pulling from the bottom of the skull. And soften the shoulders and create a little bit more space at your collarbones, moving the shoulder blades more back. And soften the eyes, the eyelids, and the tongue in the mouth. Allow it to spread without moving, just feeling how it can become wider. Taking a breath. And then direct your intention to your breath, making it longer and deeper. Feel free to start with Ujjayi Pranayama. And allow the breath to become continuous without interruptions. Flowing through the transitions on the top and on the bottom of the inhale and the exhale. And soften into it. So there is minimal effort. And then let go of your Ujjayi breath and just normal, easy breath in and out. And notice. And then slowly blink your eyes open. All right. So we're going into the tabletop position and have your blocks ready if you have some blocks close to you. And you can bring your palms underneath the shoulders and spreading the fingers wide and having the index fingers facing forward. And press from the inside of the palms and then check your knees and have the knees underneath the hips. You can untuck the toes, having the shins parallel to each other. Then you can start with your cat and cow, moving into back bend, inhaling, elongating your neck, and exhale, you round and the head can release down. Continue and find that breath again. That's direct, controlled breath. And you use the breath to guide you into the movement. Have the palms and the legs really glued into the ground. So you're pressing them down as if you had magnets on the palms, especially on the inside of the palms. All right. And then come and find neutral position. We're going to use one block in between the thighs like this. And you want to just gently firm the thighs in towards the block. And imagine you want to send the block back behind you as you move the shoulders back and the head elongates to the front, and even lift the face a little bit more away from the ground, creating the back of the neck really, really long. All right, and then stay here for one more breath. Exhale, firm from the palms, from the feet. And then tuck your toes into the mat and hover the knees just a few centimeters away from the ground, which is less than an inch. So go really, really low, keeping the hugging of the block and moving it back as if someone was pushing on the top of the thighs. Keep pressing from the inside of your palms. And then slowly release with your exhalation. Inhale into your cow pose, cow tilt, and exhale, still hugging the block, into cat pose. Then sit back. You can remove the block for a little bit and release your wrists. You can create fists and draw some circles with your hands to one direction and then to the other. Go a little bit slower and focus on the flexion where you are stretching the top of the wrist, making the palms or the fists really, really tight. So really releasing, relaxing your jaw as you breathe out fully all the way to the bottom. Good. Now we'll return, again grabbing the block and squeezing it in, coming into the tabletop position. Tuck your toes and then step your hands one more step closer to the front. So you're making it a little bit wider. Bringing the weight over to your shoulders. Take a breath in and then exhale. So your toes are tucked and you send your weight back, back, back. The hips will come towards the heels. You wrap your arms towards your face as you press the inside of the palms down. And you elongate from your shoulders, your shoulder blades rising up towards your neck. And you can release the head in between your upper arms. Then hover the knees again, but this time very different. Take a breath in. And with your exhalation, send the block back, back, and even more back behind you into downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Even your shoulders are staying low as the front of the ribs are lifting as you are sending the block back, but you can keep your knees bent. Take a breath, widening into the back ribs. And exhale those front ribs firm in, and you can bring your heels closer to the ground. Then look forwards and tippy-toe forward. So more tiny steps on your tippy toes, not the fingers, to the front of your mat. I almost said to the back. Inhale, lift halfway. You can come onto the fingertips. You can bend the knees and reach your heart forward like in your cow tilt almost. And exhale, release. And the forehead is heavy. And then release your hands. You can bend the knees even more, round your spine and roll up vertebra by vertebra. It's finding your Tadasana. Stay where you are. You can have the block, you can adjust it a little bit. Still in between your thighs. If you are not owning a block, then you have to improvise with something. It doesn't have to be too solid because you just gently firm it in. And then we are going to bring the focus onto the feet and the toes. You can bring the toes up, spreading them, really creating a lot of space in between the toes and feeling the engagement that happens with that action. Trying to keep that, pressing with the toe front of the feet, so lean a little bit more forward, but then press into the heels, so your legs are going to straighten. And then try to keep that as you release the toes down. And then we are going to lift the front of the hips up towards the chest as we send the block behind us. And those are two actions that counteract each other. Just try to keep them to your best abilities. Then elongate the spine, soften the shoulders. You can even lift from the back of your heart. And as you exhale, front ribs in. You can reach your fingertips down. And again, if someone was pulling from the base of your skull, elongating to the top. And then look through the through the nose, to the front. I don't know what's happening with language today. And just steady your gaze in your Tadasana, mountain pose. Breathing. All right, and then stay here. Reach your hands forward, still firming the block. And then firm from the feet as well. So bring the weight again more to the front if you lean back. And then inhale with your arms up, keeping the ribs in all the way up. And exhale, bend the knees a little bit and fold into your Uttanasana. So the knees can totally bend. Try to find your hands on the ground. Halfway lift, elongate to the front. Shoulders are moving back. And exhale, lean more forward as you send the block back, lifting the hips. Inhale, come all the way up, still firming the block. And use your feet to lengthen the arms up. And exhale, release the arms. Tadasana. The legs are steady. Inhale, reach up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Keep the weight forward, shins moving forward. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, Uttanasana. We will bring the palms flat onto the ground, and then we'll come onto the tippy toes again, stepping back or tippy toeing back into plank pose. And this is a very basic position that we are doing all the time, even not in yoga sometimes. Maybe if you are doing something else, not like me. You can bring your knees first on the ground and just adjust your hands. So spreading the fingers, having the wrists underneath the shoulders, and then making sure that your stance is long enough, or your feet are further enough, so you can step them a little bit more back, and then bring your hips a little bit lower, but lift from the front of the hips towards your chest, and lift the block. And then open your collarbones a little bit, elongating the neck. Take a breath in and exhale. You can put your knees down. Imagine you want to slide yourself forward as you bend elbows. Lower all the way with your hips, your belly, landing at the same time. Stretch your feet back, firm the block. Try to imagine you want to roll the thighs to lift it, pressing the pubic bone onto the ground at the same time. Baby cobra, roll the shoulders back. Breathe in and exhale, release. One more time, baby cobra. Lift the chest, roll the shoulders, and exhale, release. Take your toes into the mat, lift from your thighs, lifting the block, and firm the front ribs in, but lift the shoulders, shoulder head away from the ground. Chin in, take a breath in, and watch out, attention, we are going to lift up in one piece into plank pose, and exhale, downward facing dog. Whew. Take a breath here, firm from the inside of the palms, and still send the block back, back, back. Then bend the knees, look forward, and you can tippy toe or you can jump a little hop to the front, closer to your hands maybe than me. Half lift, inhale, and exhale, fold. The head is heavy. Inhale, come all the way up, arms reach up, and exhale, release. And stay here again, looking through that tip of the nose. finding stillness. All right, and then release that. You can remove the block finally. Away. We'll flow one more sun salutations like we did, but this time without the block, but you can still feel the imprint of the block. So you can have the feet as wide as the hips or together, your choice. Inhale, reach your arms up. You can lift your heart a little bit. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Lean the shins forward. Inhale, now lean the heart as you lift. Exhale, palms down, and you can tippy toe. You can step back into the plank pose. Firm that invisible block now, lifting the front of the hips, and the heart wants to go forward, and you feel your knuckles on the fingers pressing down. Inhale. Exhale, you can always modify it with the knees on the ground as you lower onto your abdomen. Baby cobra. Breathe in. Exhale. You can try to press. You can also press with the knees on the ground. And then come back, downward facing dog. Take a breath here, forming from the hands, from the feet, and then send the inner thighs back as you form from the outer hips. Front ribs come in, and the head can relax. Bringing that focus back to the flow of the breath here. And then look forward. You can step closer with your feet, bending the knees, and then stepping or little hop towards the front. Halfway lift, lean the shins forward, heart forward. Exhale, fold. The head is heavy, and feel free to use your hands, pressing them down into the ground. Inhale, come all the way up. Urdhva Hastasana, reach your arms up. And exhale, release. Good, great. So come into other positions that are more opening the hips out of that line. We'll come onto our butt, so you can sit down, maybe not using hands, if you will, and we'll open the legs into 1990s. So it's this 90 degrees in the knees position, in your heels, flexing the feet, spreading the toes, and then you can use your fingers behind you to lift your chest. And then the knees are going to open a little bit more out. You can either use your fingers behind you, or if it's comfortable, which is not for everyone, you can have the hands at your chest, crossing the arms, but lift your heart. Take a breath in, and exhale, we will move to the right side. So roll, roll, roll on your hips, and move the left hip all the way towards the right leg. Inhale, come back to the center, and exhale, roll to the left. Just sliding through the hip joint. Mine is cracking like crazy towards the right. Inhale back to the center, and exhale to the left, and move that right hip forward. Good. Inhale to the center. We're going to move to the right, so continue doing what you are doing, and then we'll stay on the right side. You can adjust because we keep on sliding a little bit forward as we do this. Adjust your knees, have them 90 degrees, flex your ankles, move the left hip forward, and use your right hand to lean into, elongating the left side of the body. Take a breath in, and exhale. Press your right shin down, and you can fold over the right thigh. Good. But the right leg is active. Inhale here, reach your heart a little bit more forward, so elongate the spine. And exhale, keeping the right heel pressing down. The right knee is trying to come closer to the ground at the same time. And inhale, slowly lift up and lean again towards the right. Have that left hip opening to the front. See if you can look back with your neck or just with your eyes. Hover the back heel up. Take a breath in, and exhale, release. One more inhale, And with your exhalation, we're going to hover the knee without opening the left hip out. If you're feeling any discomfort, you don't want to stay there, any muscle cramps, don't hold it. Release as you inhale. And we will again lift, but this time the whole shin is going to lift up. Try not to lean too much. And for an extra bonus point, you remove your right hand. But those bonus points, they're not worth anything. So you do, or you gain them for nothing. Take a breath in and try to lift the chin a little bit higher, spreading the toes. And then release down. Good. Use your hands behind you or not as you roll to the center. And then we'll roll again to the other side. So coming onto your left. Adjust your hips, flex your ankles, move your right hip forward. And then we're going to lean to the back, pressing, or to the left side, pressing the left shin down. You can have the arms crossing over your chest. Take a breath. And exhale, press the left shin down actively as you fold. And you're folding from the hips. And the left foot, left leg is active. Feel free to use your hands on the ground. Maybe these are the different points. So one point, some points are for being doing the harder thing, but then there are more bonus points where you actually take care of yourself and you use your hands because it's enough for you today. Try to relax your jaw. Still the left leg is active, and exhale, you go in even deeper. But again, those are different bonus points, right? If we go deeper. And then slowly lift up, pressing the shin down. And we're going to lean again, elongating the right side of the body, and lift the back heel up as you exhale. And then release, inhale, and exhale. The knee is going to lift up, trying not to open the hip out. The hip is still facing to the front. This one feels a little bit weird for me, so if that's the case, just don't stay there or don't push it too much. Inhale, and exhale, we're going to lift the whole shin. Try not to lean too much, but still elongating your right side of the body. And again, pointless bonus points if you don't use your hands to support you. Try to lift a tiny bit higher. Try to have the knee and the ankle at the same level as well. And then release. This is a killer. Move to the center. And we're going to open the legs out to the side. You can adjust here. You can use your fingertips behind you. Totally feel free to do any kind of movement here. Flex your ankles, dig the heels down, and roll the thighs back as you use your fingertips behind you to move the hips more forward. But keep the legs active. Breathe in. And if it's comfortable, you can lean and walk a little bit more forward. But the legs are active. Toes are spreading, and the jaw is soft. Breathe in and exhale firm from the sitting bones more into the ground. Inhale, lift up, grab from underneath the knees, bring the legs in. You can move the heels in, see if you can open the knees and lean forward. This is not working for everyone, depending on your body bones proportions. It might be easier to lift up. And then we're going to bring the palms down. You can step down back into downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward with your shoulders, adjust the feet if you need. Plank pose, find that block, we forgot about it, in between your inner thighs. As you lift it, so the legs are lifting, the hips, and the front of the hips are moving towards your chest. Chest moves forward. Breathe in, and exhale, lower all the way down. Baby cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Breathe in here, soften the head, press from your hands, lift from your forearms. And exhale, invisible ball moves behind you. Reach your right leg up
And just keep your hips firming in, so you still have that block and you are lifting from the right inner thigh and the toes are active. Breathe in again. Exhale, knee to the chest, shoulders over the wrists, lift onto your back tippy toes, step the foot forward. Grab a block, place it from the outside of your right ankle. Bring the back heel down with the back foot at an angle, bending the right knee, and the right foot and the right thigh are going to point the same direction as you open up in your warrior two. Feel free to adjust your stance, having the heel aligned, so the front heel at the front, in front of the back heel, in your Virabhadrasana too. Soften the shoulders as you firm from the feet. You can look forward through the middle finger and feel the rotation of your right thigh as you firm the left inner thigh behind you. Inhale, extend your right leg, press from the front foot, and then we're going to lengthen the right side of the body. Right hip is moving back as the right hand reaches forward, forward, forward. Grab a block. You can place the hand on that block, pressing strongly from the inside of your right foot, and then you feel the rotation of your right inner thigh moving back as the right hip moves to the back, in this case to the back of the mat. And you can open the chest, reaching the left arm up. Notice how, as you roll the right inner thigh out, the big toe mount leaves the ground. So firm it in, and then feel the back leg firming back as well. So the back inner thigh is lifting away from the ground, and the chest is rolling up. Take a breath in here. Hi, Gusto. Exhale, right shoulder goes away from the ear. And then slowly release, bending the right knee. Again, having the thigh firming to the back as if it was plugging back into your hip as you open the arms. We'll flip the right palm and then the reverse. Bend the right knee deep and big side stretch. Inhale and exhale. Bring your hands down. Back heel spins up. You can press with your hands as you step back. Inhale in your plank pose. Exhale, lower down. Keeping the shoulders away from the ground. Inhale, lift into your back bend of the choice. Exhale, downward facing dog. You will change the side, so left leg comes up. Inhale. And exhale. I think I will have to fix Gusto. Step the leg forward. Continue doing so. I'm not even going to edit this. And back heel spins down. Grab a block since we are still on the ground, so you have the time, hopefully, to grab a block and adjust the feet. So the back heel is, or back foot is a little bit at an angle, and the left foot is facing forward. And already that left leg has that rotating tendency. So you feel already the inner thigh being stretched. And then slowly lifting up, and you can still adjust. You don't have to have the perfect stance from the beginning. And just feel the feet again glued into the ground, softening the shoulders, feeling the rotation of the left leg, and then firming into the back leg as you lift the front of the hips and firm the front ribs in as well, softening the shoulders. Look through the middle finger, taking a breath, softening the things that you can in this position, and then extend the left leg. Reach forward, keeping the stance as long as it is. Moving the left hip back so the left side is elongating. Bring the hand on the block. And the right hand can come onto your hip for now. Bring the focus onto the front leg. So making sure that the front foot is facing forward and the big toe mount is pressing down. And then the inner thigh of the front leg is rolling all the way out as the left hip is firming in. And then the back leg is rooting down as the inner thigh is moving to the back. But at the same time, you want to lift the front of the hips. And it's all happening at the same time, which is sometimes confusing, but you are doing great. I'm really, really sure that that's happening. Front inner foot pressing down even more, left side of the body lengthening. And you can reach your right arm up, softening the shoulders away from the neck, twisting. There is a slight twist from the spine. You can look up. And one more breath as you lift the left and the right kneecap up. And then bend the left knee, look forward, so you have awareness of where you are moving in the space, lifting up, reversing left palm flips, that left eye still rolling out. Inhale, side bend, and exhale, come all the way down, bringing the back heel down, up first, turning the toes into the mat before you step back in your plank. Find that block with your inner thigh. So this is very important, especially since we are doing that external rotation. Can you find that neutral now? Inhale and exhale, lower all the way. Stay here on your belly, reach your hands back, and we're going to actually use a block in between our ankles. This is again more bonus points if you have this block. Good. It's a little bit tricky to get it there. Once you have it, it's good. And then you're trying to have the inner thighs rolling up as the pubic bone presses down. Have the palms flat on the ground. Move the shoulders up. The forehead can be on the ground. And then inhale, lift your feet by moving the thighs and your chest up. And the palms can stay firming down. Shavasana. Inhale. Reach the toes more back and firm that block with your ankles. One more breath. And then slowly release. Taking a break. You can look to the side or you use your hands as pillows. Feel free to close your eyes. All right. Then return. Chin comes to the mat. This time we're going to bend the legs, the knees, and you can grab the feet and then walk your hands closer to your ankles. And then flex your ankles, spread your toes, and if your legs went wider, bring them a little bit closer, and that might already start lifting you up. Firm from the inner thighs again, and then kick the feet back, trying to relax your shoulders. The heart wants to reach forward, and then you can point your feet lifting from your thighs into Dhanurasana. Inhale. Exhale, just feel the belly coming in. Soften from your face. You can look down through your cheeks. One more breath. And then exhale. Release. You can look to the other side. Or again, having the forehead on your palms. Take a big breath. And a long exhalation that empties. And roll onto your back. You can use your hands to help you. Removing the block from next to your feet. And you can bend the knees. Stepping the feet in. And stay here with your eyes closed for a little bit. The knees can knock in together. Feet can go wider. One more breath. We'll bring the knees in to the chest. You can grab them with your hands, moving them from side to side. Jathara Parivartanasana, extending the legs up. The knees can be bent in this position as well, a little bit if that's your challenge. Opening the arms to the sides. And then inhale, we're going to shift the hips to the left. And exhale, the legs will slowly come towards the right, but don't move them or don't put them all the way onto the ground. Inhale back up, shift the hips to the left, to the right, and legs will go to the left. Inhale, lift. Try to have the feet at the same level. Shift the hips and exhale to the right. Go a little bit lower. Inhale, lift. Shift the hips. Exhale to the left. Inhale, lift. Shift. This time we will come closer, closer, closer until the legs can land. And you can now allow them to slide a little bit crooked, so not symmetrical. You can lift the head looking towards the left, using your hand to grab that top knee, having the knee closer at your chest. Breathing in here. And as the exhale, soften, and that left knee is heavier, heavier, heavier. The feet are on the ground even if the knees are lifted. And then move to the center with your breath in. Shift the hips to the right side and exhale to the left. My voice went a little bit higher there. So allow the knees to come all the way down. You can again use your hand on the top knee and you can lift the head looking towards the other side. Shoulders are heavy. You can even reach your right hand, your right shoulder more as you breathe in, and as you exhale, the hips move into the twist. And you can stay here, trying to make that breath again smooth, no interruptions. Inhaling will bring you back to the center. You can bend the knees a little bit to do so. Adjust the hips to the middle. Grab your knees and move them from side to side. Okay, and then we are going to grab behind the knees, rounding the spine, lifting the head, and rock back and forward a few times until you find a seat. We'll come into more hip openers to end the practice. So Sukhasana, different from Siddhasana that we did at the beginning. Sukhasana is when your shin is in front of the other shin, but the heels are more moving away from each other to the opposite directions. If this is too easy for you, the knees are flat, which is not my case. You can even move into Agnishtambhasana, which is the firelock position where your shins are one on top of the other. If your knees are extremely high, again, option to have something to sit on top of. We'll bring the right shin in front or on top, and you can use a block, it's my block, or even two blocks eventually for your head. So flex your ankles, spread your toes, and we'll stay here for approximately 1 minute. It's not too long, but it's long enough. Breathe in, lift the heart, and exhale. Slowly come closer towards your block or ground. And you can use that block underneath the forehead. And you're going to work on breathing into the hips and the legs. The knees are heavy, but the feet are active. So the feet are the basis, the foundation for your knees. So activating your toes. And eventually that activation allows your hips to understand that there is stability. And it's going to allow you to move deeper. You can move the heels even more narrow and fold a tiny bit deeper for the last breath. All right, slowly lift up as you inhale and extend the legs forward. You can slide them, you can use your hands and just give them a little bit of shake. Move your ankles. Notice how much the ankles are affected by this position. And then switch the side, so your left shin, trying to have the shins parallel, so they are at the front and the heels are going away from you. Again, inhale, lift your heart, and exhale, moving into your fold. Your spine can round eventually. It's more now about the hips and what you can soften at the same time as you have engagement in your feet and have that stability and the support for other joints. Even closing your eyes and direct the breath down into the pelvis. Notice how it affects the sensation in your hips as you inhale, and then as you exhale again, what is the effect of the exhale? Again, feel free for the next two breaths to move a little bit deeper, moving the heels more away from each other. Long and deep inhalation and a softening exhalation that grounds you. And release, coming back up. Grab from behind your knees, if you will, to help the legs to extend and give them a little shake. Move your ankles. And then you can slide into your shavasana. Rolling down. We're going to do a short shavasana here together. Feel free to continue with the shavasaning with yourself for even longer. So allow the shoulders to slide down, slide the hands away from each other or away from the shoulders. And then take one more breath, making sure that your back of the neck is long. And softening from your whole legs, from the hips, the thighs grounding, the shins, the calves, and the feet and the toes. Feel free to cover yourself as well if you are cold. Again, softening the eyeballs. Imagining all those little muscles around the eyes. And I mean that move the eyes. Not the one that close your eyelids, but the ones that are deep in the socket. And see if you can soften those. Softening the inside of the mouth. The tongue is touching the palate. And the mouth is closed. Bringing the focus to your breath. And observe the flow of the breath.
And thank you for practicing with me.